All right. Hey, love. Hey, love. Hey, love. We're on week 2 with the grief group. So I'm giving you the rest of chapter 2, parts of it from the grief recovery book for those of us who are grieving some kind of loss. Me, it's health, it's fur baby, it's loved ones, it's my career. I didn't want to retire. I appreciate it more now because I probably would have gotten fired with everything that's going on in the educational system. But it still bothers me. Loss of finances. Today, I've had another unforeseen cost. My washing machine went out. I ain't got it like that. Anyhow, let me continue. There's a few more pages, and I want to give that to you. Another reaction was roller coaster of emotional energy, going up and down and in and out of feelings. Do not allow anyone to create any time frames for it or stages for you. There are no absolutes in grief. Only one unalterable truth is all relationships are unique. One of the most damaging pieces of misinformation is the idea that you can never get over the death of a child, the death of a loved one. This absolutely incorrect claim is made to parents whose child has died, but it is also made in connection with other losses. Yeah. Not forgetting becomes incorrectly entangled with the idea of not getting over. This crippling idea keeps the griever's heart eternally broken, does not allow for recovery of any kind, and more often than not, severely limits any fond memories associated with the relationship. So for someone who's lost a child and they perhaps may say that their heart is permanently broken, most people accept that comment and move on. But with the grief recovery, they're like, do you have fond memories of your child? And of course, most of us do have fond memories of someone that we've lost. No matter what kind of loss it is. I noticed the difference with me having this unnecessary hysterectomy and the way that I felt before, even though I was in pain. Now, sometimes when I'm reminded of her struggles and her death, my heart feels broken, and other times I remember her wonderful qualities. I feel happy and pleased to share memories of her. That is the way that we should look at losing a loved one. When I find myself crying because of missing baby, and I'm getting teary even talking about it, talking about him, I try to think about the good times, the good memories. And even though it still hurts, I don't cry as hard. The same way with my human loved ones. Even the most loving and complete of relationships will end with some kind of incompleteness. We would wish that we had more time, but more time still doesn't help. Yeah. It is typical for a family to talk immediately afterwards about the family member who died. It is equally common following a divorce, retirement, pet loss, job loss, or physical change to talk about the good and bad experiences within those relationships or events. Talking about loss in relationships is wonderful and good, but not enough to allow us to feel complete. Some may ask, when do I begin to recover? If circumstances and events conspire to break your heart, would you seek attention immediately, or would you allow yourself to bleed to death emotionally? The same way with a broken bone. Would you sit up and say that I'm all right, or would you go get some help so that it can heal properly? Is it ever too soon to begin to recover? No. It is never too soon to address your grief. Grief is, by definition, emotional. Earlier, we talked about anger and denial. Closure is another unhelpful and inaccurate word. Another often misused word applied to grief is guilt. But guilt states that there was harm intended. And most of us never intended to harm the person that passed away or what we lost. Survivor is intellectually accurate. It implies that the griever has outlived someone else. More important, the word survivor defines the griever and causes him or her to constantly revisit the circumstances about loss. So in this book, it does not give the word survivor intentionally, because it tends to act as both a definition and a diagnosis, and often keeps people stuck in a dangerous and painful rut. Major losses resulting from death, divorce, and other causes are usually not common occurrences. Therefore, we are generally not familiar with the thoughts and feelings we experience following losses. It is inevitable that we fall back on whatever information we have learned in the past to try to deal with our responses to the conflicting feelings caused by a loss event. If you have found that the available information and support have not been adequate in helping you recover from loss, it is not because of what's wrong with you. It's because there is a lack of correct information. Reading this book, listening to me talk about this book, means that you are open to your grief. It means you're open to beginning a process of recovery that will enhance your life rather than limit it. Listening to me read you parts of this book is because of what's right with you, not what's wrong. Yeah. So I've given you parts 1 and part 2. Next week, I'll talk about part 3, and maybe even, I don't know, maybe I'll do it week by week because it is a 12-week group. So maybe next week I'll give you part 3 and not get ahead of what the group is doing. My next reading, of course, will be about the menopause book. And hopefully you will share that. Even share these grief talks so that more people will get a better clarity about what it is that women go through. I think that with that book, I may read more of it rather than just underlining some pieces of it. I just may. But thank you for gifting me with some of your time on both of these videos for part 1 and part 2. I do appreciate you as always. Feel free to leave your comments. Feel free to share. Feel free to save, because you may need it. Or you may know someone who does, for any type of grief. I'm trying and working on recovering because it's irreversible. It's irreversible. Maybe if I win the lottery, the whole thing, I can find a doctor that will give me one of these uteruses that another woman feels like she doesn't want and that she can do without realizing she's putting herself in the position to have cardiac problems, breast cancer, and so much more that they don't tell us. We find out about it after the fact. So I'm grieving a lot. Not just death, I'm grieving a lot and have been for several years. I'm just trying to be better now. A little bit. Yeah. All right. Be love.